Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, smash the like button on this video. Smash the like button on my Joshua Usyk video that I put up a couple of hours ago. Guys, I wanted to go into what we were talking about yesterday about Canelo and Charlo. Look, it looks like it's that fight is gaining some pace. It does look like that, that fight is being targeted for Cinco de Mayo. And I'm very, very excited because Charlo's one of the guys that people made out that Canelo's ducking. Um, there was a few, like, I wouldn't say strange, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there was a few opinions yesterday. Some people were saying Canelo fighting Charlo is a cherry pick. Some people were saying that, Canelo Charlo is a very interesting fight, and like Little Penny was saying it's a very, very interesting fight. Campos was actually saying it's a cherry pick. What do you call it? Charlo's never fought at 168 before. But JP made a very interesting point that Charlo's a very big guy. He's actually boiling down to 160. But I don't know how Jermall Charlo made 154 because he is a very big guy, very, very big guy. And Charlo, like, he's a massive, massive dude. Massive dude. Like, you can just tell when you look at him. When I look at Charlo, I can tell this guy's massive. He's huge. You can just tell from his body frame, his size, his muscles. Like, he's a big guy. A big, big guy. You can just tell looking at his arms, his shoulders. He's a big, big dude. Right? And I don't know how he makes 160, I don't know how he makes 150. I don't know how he made 154. Just probably has great genetics, but I actually think that this isn't a cherry pick. I actually think this is a great fight. And this fight is being targeted for Cinco de Mayo, which is obviously, the Mexican day, and it's obviously one of the biggest, times in, I think, Mexico calendar. So it's a great time for for a big fight. A lot of the Mexican fans will tune in to watch the fight, especially when it's involving Canelo. We know that Mayweather had that date, and then after Mayweather left, became Canelo's date. Canelo took over from Mayweather. I just think this had the hallmarks of a great fight. I think, and some of you were saying that, Charlo and Canelo's not that big a fight. Some of you were saying it in the comments section of the video that I did yesterday, that the Charlo fight is not a big fight. Charlo don't do, yeah, Charlo on his own fighting the competition that he's fighting isn't a big pay-per-view fight. You're right. But if Charlo fights Canelo Alvarez, then that'll be a massive fight because Charlo is a name in boxing. Charlo's a bigger name than Caleb Plant, not even close. Not even, like, nobody knew Caleb Plant. People know who Jermall Charlo is. Like, before, like, let's be honest, how many people knew, like, there's not many people that knew Caleb Plant prior to, fighting Canelo. I knew, obviously, who he was. I saw him fight against Usyk, but he wasn't really that well known. Even to the hardcore boxing fan, Caleb Plant wasn't that well known. Charlo is well known, and he's more well known than Benavidez as well. He's been around for longer. So for me, this is a big fight. This is a big, big fight. I actually think this fight will do over 1 million pay-per-view buys, without question. Without question, because Charlo's a big personality in boxing. He's a big person. I don't know how Charlo will go about the press conference. I don't know if he'll put it on Canelo. I'm not sure. I think Charlo is confident, and he will say, he will say a few things, but I don't think he's the type of guy who's going to start sticking it on Canelo. I'm not so sure if he does that. I'm not sure if he'll do what Caleb Plant did or what Billy Joe did. I just think he'll go about his own business, but he'll be confident of getting the victory. I really like the fight. I think it would be huge. I think it would be huge for boxing. I think it would be a massive fight. And also, those fans that think that Canelo's ducking those type of fighters, he's ducking Charlo, he's ducking Andrade, I think that'll shut them up as well. I like the fight. I really do. I really like the fight with Charlo and Canelo. It's a massive fight. Stylistically a good fight as well. Charlo brings it. Canelo likes the guys coming to him. Charlo is a good boxer. He's got a great jab. Canelo, I think it makes for a style. I think styles gonna clash, and I think it's gonna make for a great fight. I think it's one of the biggest fights that can be made in 160 and 168 pounds. I do. The problem is with Canelo fighting these guys is that Canelo will be seen as such a substantial favorite, and it's almost where Canelo's got nothing to gain. Apart, he's only got everything to lose because he's seen as such a heavy favorite, and he'll be going into a Canelo Charlo fight as such a heavy favorite. Canelo, that when you really think about it, he has to go in and look outstanding. Otherwise, people are going to say he got exposed and stuff. I think Canelo's resume is unbelievable, and now by him adding Charlo to that, it makes it even look even stacked. You know, he's even more stacked, to be honest. And before he goes to 175 pound, he fights one of those guys that people want to see him fight, Charlo, Benavidez, or Andrade. Look, he can't fight all three. It's going to be very difficult, especially if Canelo wants to go and do something at 175. He might not be able to fight all three unless one of them comes up and makes a play at 175, which I very much doubt. Well, Benavidez probably has the best chance of coming up to 175. Andrade is 2 weight classes below that at this particular point. So can Andrade really come up and make any kind of dent on the 175 pound division? I'm not so sure. So I like the fight. I think, Canelo worked with Al Heyman and PBC. I think he liked doing business with them. I think they treated him well. And I think a Charlo fight is more than possible. Like, there was talks about Golovkin as well. It wouldn't shock me if they take a U-turn and they just fight Golovkin. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest because that would be a huge fight. Canelo v Golovkin would be a massive, massive fight. Massive fight. So, personally, I want to see Canelo v Charlo. I feel for me, that's the better fight in the sense that I've already seen Golovkin fight Canelo twice. I don't want to see Canelo and Golovkin again. I want to see Canelo and Charlo, or Canelo Andrade, or Canelo or Benavidez. I want to see something different. I've already seen that twice, and also it adds another name to Canelo's legacy or resume, so to speak. Another champion to Canelo's resume. So it makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure Steven will also be happy because Canelo will be defending his undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, which Steven's high on because he doesn't like people moving up and down weight classes just nilly-willy. He wants them to stay at one weight class and dominate for a while. Canelo's become undisputed lately, and him sticking around at super middleweight and cleaning up all of the guys there could be a thing. But again, when you look at legacy, what makes more sense? Him staying at super middleweight or going up to 175 and look to clean out that division? It makes a lot more sense because Canelo's not here to stick around. Canelo wants to move up weight classes and create history. Like, I am intrigued to see who Canelo fights next, but the rumors, Mike Coppinger has said that the Canelo Charlo fight is a massive possibility for Cinco de Mayo. And Canelo in the past has also mentioned that he wants to fight Charlo. Because wasn't he asked who would he rather prefer to fight, Charlo or Golovkin? And he said Charlo. Also, I think Canelo knows stylistically the Charlo fight makes for a great fight. I think Canelo stylistically likes that fight against Charlo. So I think that makes for a very, very good fight. The Charlo fight makes for a very, very, very good fight. And I think when it comes to numbers, I think it's a much bigger fight than Andrade. I do. I think Canelo v Charlo is a bigger fight than Canelo v Andrade. Some people may say Canelo v Benavidez is a bigger fight. Again, I think Charlo's a bigger name than Benavidez, but the fact that, Benavidez is American-Mexican and those two are Mexicans, maybe they could sell that more. Maybe that would be much bigger because of the backgrounds of both. They'd be able to sell that to a much bigger audience than the Canelo Charlo fight. But I still think, like I said, I think Canelo Charlo does over 1 million pay-per-view buys. I think it's a huge fight. I genuinely do. I think people would definitely buy that fight. And Canelo's really genuinely the only big pay-per-view star in America. If we look at it, I don't think there's any other fighter that's really a big pay-per-view star like Canelo Alvarez. He's the only pay-per-view star in America, like Spence, Crawford. These guys don't do anywhere near the numbers Canelo does. Like, the numbers that those guys do are relatively small in comparison to what Canelo does. Canelo does huge numbers. Whereas Spence and Crawford doesn't. I mean, Crawford doesn't do big numbers at all, and Spence doesn't really do huge numbers. Maybe Wilder with a dance partner like a Fury, they'll do big numbers, but Canelo could fight anyone and do huge pay-per-view numbers. Whereas I don't think there's any other fighter in America that really does big numbers like that. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this Canelo Charlo fight. To be honest with you, I really like it. I think it's gonna be an epic fight. Who do you guys think wins, by the way? Do you think Charlo could shock the world? Or do you think Canelo Alvarez will? Personally, if I'm leaning towards a Canelo Alvarez stoppage, I'm going to do a video with my brother to see what he thinks. I'm leaning to a Canelo Alvarez late stoppage. That's what I'm leaning towards. That's what I think will happen. I think Canelo Alvarez will break him down. I think Charlo will slow down in the later part of the fight. And I think Canelo may stop him. Now, Charlo has got a good chin. So it wouldn't shock me if Charlo does make the distance. I just think Canelo will break him down and then stop him late. But I won't be surprised if Charlo does make the distance. He's a very tough guy, big guy. He's got a good chin. So I think, a unanimous decision or a late stoppage looks more likely. But can Charlo shock the world? Can Jermall Charlo shock the world against Canelo Alvarez? I don't think he can. To be brutally honest with you, I don't think he can. I think Canelo right now is the best in the world, and I think it's going to take something special to beat Canelo Alvarez. And I'm not sure Jermall Charlo is that guy. I'm not sure he's that guy, unfortunately. And I just think Canelo will break him down and most likely stop him late. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Canelo Alvarez, Charlo can cause Canelo Alvarez a lot more trouble than what we think? Or do you think that this is a relatively straightforward fight? What do you guys think? Will Canelo Alvarez knock Charlo out? Or will Jermall Charlo shock the world? I'd love to know your opinion. I'm going to do a video with Salman to see what his opinions are about this fight. Salman's a pretty big Canelo fan. I'm be very surprised. I want to know his opinion. He may think Charlo stands a better chance than me. But I'd be very surprised if he did, because Salman's not really a big fan of some of the fighters at 160 or 168. And I don't think he sees anyone beating Canelo, even at 175. He doesn't see anyone beating Canelo. So I'll have to speak to him, see what he says about the fight. I haven't really spoke to him about this fight. So yeah, once I speak to him, we'll do a video and we'll break down what he thinks and how he thinks this fight's going to go. We'll do another live stream soon and we'll talk about it. Maybe this fight gets confirmed very soon, and then we'll be able to talk about this in more depth as more details unfold in the coming days. Leave your thoughts, guys, in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.